Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 1:40, and it's our first budget hearing of the season. Convene day one of FY 2024 department budget hearings and take any necessary action regarding the proposed budget. And number one that we're going to hear from is County Court of Law. We do have a quorum, and I think everybody ready to go?
Yep.
Ready to go?
There's other one, yeah.
Okay. Everybody on this side? Judge Morris, would you please present your budget to us?
Well, I did not change any figures from last year, or rather from the approved budget. However, I noticed later on the issue of on the item of retirement that the 2023 budget number is less than 2022, and although the entire budget amount was not spent in 22, it was more than the amount which I requested in the 2023 budget. So, of course, I don't have control over the amount of retirement anyway. That's the only figure that would change or make any difference. All my other figures are exactly like the proposed budget for 23.
Okay, so you're saying that 23 budget number is lower than?
Yes, in 2023, the retirement item on the budget was $33,709. In 2022, we spent $30,955. Then in the 23 budget, the number set was $29,991, and that's the figure that I used on my budget line. So I don't know if the $29,991 is going to meet the retirement figure or not.
The rate changes every year.
Well, I
you
know
can't-
that, and since I don't know that, I don't know
Right.
what number to put down. I just used the figure of the proposed budget.
Okay,
I did change your subscription line to $1,810 because your
I think that's going to
Thompson,
go up.
Thompson West goes up 5% every year. And I changed your bond account to 0. Notaries are good for 5 years, and I see there was one obtained in 21, and you were sworn in and elected last year, so you don't need a bond. Your bond is for 4 years, so I made your bond 0.
Okay.
Shelley, what you do on subscriptions, change it to what?
$1,810.
Which is reflected in this, what that you just given us.
That's just with Westlaw raising their fee.
Westlaw did. Okay, and that was a different, it's the retirement's the different rate. It's the answer to that one.
How did that change, Shelley?
Every year, depending on how much we're funded, and how much interest TCDRS earns, then our rate will go up or go down. So last year it was 807. The year before that it was 870, I think, or 890.
But it's going down because we're supplementing.
Well, it just depends. I mean,
Yeah,
this is the downturn in the market. They increased their proposed rates because they were earning less interest. And then it started picking back up.
And as a result, we pay less, so his contribution went down.
Other than those couple of items, I haven't requested any changes.
Not going to request anything different than that. Anybody have any questions of Judge Morris?
That's an easy one, Judge.
What?
That's an easy one.
It
You
really
know the
was,
president
yeah.
and the rest of the departments?
Well, if I don't need to spend it, I don't spend it. I need it there in some cases, but it's there and available, and
I got a question as far as out of his technology fund. I noticed that he and some of the other courts are funding computers out of theirs instead of IT.
Yes, because this is a court cost. So this is a fund just for the 2 courts to buy any technology or computers out of. And so, I put 3,500 in for computers just in case he needs one at the bench or his, I think recently your microphones have gone out or something, and we got you a new microphone or
I don't know if we had to have repair work to get new ones.
something, yeah.
But our courts is the only one we're doing that with. Computer expense falls
Yes, but
for every other
if,
department falls
if-
under
if
IT.
another department has money somewhere, like the JPs have their tech fund, so their computers come out of their tech fund. But for the most part, us other people come out of our IT.
But we just done that to the courts because they had a fund to fund it.
Yes. It was statutorily created just for them.
What about you there, Judge? I just noticed it on some other budgets.
So where does that go back to if it's not used this year, then
Stays in the fund.
stays in the fund? Okay.
In his fund, doesn't come back to our general
Right,
fund.
right. That's what I was getting at. Okay, any other questions for Judge Morris?
Then I have one question. I've been without a bailiff now for about a month, and Daniel and Sabrina have been floating in and out, taking care of my hearings. And I just wondered if the proposed action was to hire a new bailiff or was to let them continue to substitute.
I haven't talked to the sheriff, but I do know that I talked to a gentleman that has applied for the bailiff job that's open. So I know that that's going on.
Of course, that goes through the sheriff's office,
Yeah.
not through mine.
Yeah.
It's my understanding they're working on replacing it. You won't be sharing.
Okay, well, that's, I just want to know the status.
How long have you been without?
Sir,
How long have you been without?
Justin left about a month ago,
Okay,
month to 6 weeks probably.
okay.
But each day we've had a hearing, Daniel has been available, and he's on vacation this week, so Sabrina is there because there's no CPS court going on across the hall.
Okay, she's just on loan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she just is there when there's not court going on over there, and Daniel comes in.
And I guess worst case, if all of you needed a bailiff at the same time, the sheriff would bring somebody in. I would bet.
Yeah, they could do that, but right now Daniel said it was okay. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know if that was going to be the permanent fix or we were going to hire another. Okay. Well, thank you.
All right.
Sorry I'm a few minutes late.
We got started late too.
We were too, that's all right, so, worked out. Well, thank you very much, then. Is there anything we need to approve at this time, or just go on to the next one? And
You probably need to take some note on what you think you're gonna do on this one,
Sure.
in case we, because we're gonna come back. We don't want him to have to come back, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right.
Okay. Constable Precinct 1, you're up.
And we're having 5 copies of what I was going to propose to y'all. Anybody want a copy of it?
Sure.
Do we have it?
Yeah.
We should have it in our packet.
I don't have everything.
Oh, cool.
I have what the amount costs.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And each slide is highlighted that there is some type of change.
Okay.
Does his new paperwork need to go with this? Yes. So I need one to go with the agenda.
Well, y'all have to ask me. I can't see it. I don't have one now.
Here, you
I was
one.
gonna say, you can just give me yours after. You can give me after you do it. Yeah, just get that back to the judge and give me look at it.
She said I could give it to her.
Okay, all right.
Everything that you see on the front page, it's marked in yellow, is items that's been changed. I do ask for more fuel. I'd like to get out in the county and patrol some whenever I've got paperwork caught up on service. a little hard to do with the fuel budget I have. There's just not enough in there to get out to do any really patrol. Most of my work is inside the city limits of Gainesville, probably 95% of it or more. So that gives me very little time to get out in the county. As most of you know, I live in Callisburg, so I get to different routes going home that I use to show, be out in the county and different things. People see a patrol car, says constable on the side of it. But there's a lot of other places I'd like to go, but with the fuel budget where it is, it's just, I don't do it because of that. The vehicle maintenance, depends on what you guys do at the very bottom here, whenever we down did it. If we don't go with a new car, I'm gonna need some extra money for vehicle maintenance. It's just an old car, but it's an old car, but it's still gonna need some things that, it's gonna come up. Had a throttle body had to be replaced about a month or so ago. It was $500. Just no car. It's going to happen.
What kind of miles it got on it now, Mark?
It's got 86,000. It's the I estimated whenever I put this in. Sometimes I can see the speedometer. the odometer, and sometimes I can't. Last night I was able to see it whenever I moved it. It come on, and that's a $400-something fix. I don't think I need to spend the money on just to. Only time I really need it is whenever I see is it time to change the oil. And so far, every now and then it'll come on and I get an idea where I need to change the oil in or not. So I haven't spent the money on doing that. As far as the ammunition, you guys got in the packet there, you got an idea of what it costs per box. I got 2 reserves I need to give ammunition to. $350 doesn't go very far. And it's been that way since I've been constable. I've given them some of my personal ammo that I have. And I've spent some of the, obviously, the county money to buy them some duty ammo, but it's just $350 don't go very far. Those are just ballpark numbers. That ain't solid numbers. The dealership that I can get them can probably beat those numbers a little bit. But until I hit order, but then I don't know. But the ammo's not cheap, no matter who I get it from. When you're buying it for 3 people, $350 don't go very far. And I'd use 2 guns, or actually 3, but I could get by with 1 pistol and a long gun. I'd use 2 pistols whenever I qualify, 9mm, 45, and then the 223. The reserves, they just get pistol.
You guys still disqualifying once a year?
I'm sorry, sir.
Still disqualifying once a year?
Right now, that's it. Ammunition.
Who's qualifying you guds now? Y'all shooting with the sheriff's office?
I do.
You do it. You got a firearms instructor's license through TICO?
I don't have to. I can choose to be the firearm instructor. I can choose anybody I want to, actually, in the elected position.
Not even without an instructor's license?
No, sir. I don't have to.
What all do your reserves do for you?
I'm sorry?
What all do your reserves do?
They don't do a whole lot at this point in time. I don't require much of them because of the limited. I don't have a car for them to come out and get in and go out in, and I don't have a hardly any ammunition to get them to, to train with and everything. But if I need something, I call them, and if they're available, I try not to call them during work hours, during the week. But I've had, they will come out, and if I really need them. So far, I've only had them come out maybe 4 or 5 times at the most. But it's nice to be able to call them if they're available. Just don't know when they're going to be available. They both have working jobs during the week. Joe more than Darla. Darla, she's kind of got a little more flexible schedule than Joe does, but she's awful busy too. And then sometimes she has that where she goes to Africa on a mission, and she's totally out of the picture on that. She has that going on.
As deputy constables, are they having to go to that annual training that you have to go to every year?
They have to do their online training just as many hours as I do.
They do the 40 hours online, but they don't go to the JP constable's training?
Right. And they're both up on training hours. And about 4 months ago, 6 months ago, I can't tell you the exact date, TCO comes in and audited on my department. Had one issue on it, got it cleared up, so I'm in compliance and everything else at this point in time.
Where does your training come out? I mean, I don't see any.
I'm sorry?
Where does your training line? I see a conference line, but there's nothing there.
Well, the training would be the ammunition, sir. That's where I do my training. As far as my training for the 3,000, that is what they call the ILSA money. I can use that on myself. I cannot use that for the reserves, and that is for schools that I can apply to go to. And the state of Texas puts money into that account every year, but it's for training and training only, but only for someone who is working full-time. It's not for reserve use at all.
I guess I'm asking, where's that at? I don't see it on here.
It's on the page that's orange.
The page that's on, oh,
Oh,
training.
okay.
It's on the line below
I see it there now.
and the
I see it there now.
And unless it's changed, when he goes to a constable's training, they pick up everything, I guess, except driving down there, right?
Most, yes.
Hotel
They
expense,
do
everything.
pretty good at picking everything up. If I got receipts for it. So far, I've done, did pretty good on it. Haven't used it as much as I'd like to, but it's a little hard to get away with just one guy, one-man department. So
Mark,
try to use it as much as only if it's absolutely necessary. It's mandatory. We've got to do this class. If it's not mandatory stuff, we try to do it online, or try to do it, catch a class in Gainesville or catch a class in Denton or somewhere like that. It's often free or something like that.
when you do the annual training,
I'm sorry?
when you do the annual training, you don't even have to pay for it out of LEOC, do you?
I do not take any money out of the LC for anything other than training. If I go to, say, like a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, and then Chuck went down to Kilgore and stuff like that, that can be paid for. That type of training can be paid out of the LC money.
But the annual thing doesn't cost you anything. They
I'm
don't.
sorry?
They don't send you a bill for the annual
No,
training that you go to that's mandatory.
no.
Okay.
They don't send me nothing unless we turn in, and they don't pay for anything, and they don't try to get me to go anywhere. It's fully, if I apply for it and then Shelley then send them the request for the money to get out of it. I mean, I've already got the monies in, and Shelley takes care of the money, it's already here. It's just, you got to use it in particular ways, you just can't use it for anything and everything you want to. It's got to be mainly for classical type of training. I mean, you can, one example I know of, I mean, you probably remember about Harper, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever, he went in Oklahoma and done a sniper training type thing. And you guys approved it. He had to get approved from you guys because he went out of state. But that was a type of training that, out of classroom, that LEOC paid for. But generally, most of the time, it's like a classroom environment type training.
Shut
Does
it.
anybody else got any questions?
Do you have any questions for us?
No, it just, I think it's, personally, this is just my opinion and statement. I'd like to see the commissioners to think real hard about getting the constables a vehicle. You know, you never have. As some of them has pointed out to you in the past. And I've talked to a few of you guys about it. Some of you are new that I haven't talked to about it. I don't want to go to the sheriff's and take out the junk that they're going to be auctioning off because it's not safe for them. I don't respond very often in an emergency way, but occasionally I do. And I don't want a piece of junk under me if I'm doing that. It's a safety issue. I don't want to hurt myself, and I certainly definitely don't want to hurt anybody else because something breaks on an old car. A car, I'm not rough on a car. I can't. A lot of police are. Gary knows how some of them are. They're just rough on them. A vehicle should last about 10 years, you know. And what we do may be even longer. I don't know. I would hope you guys consider it and make an effort to maybe try to do it this year.
Just so you know, we have about $3.5 million worth of assets this year.
I know.
To clarify on the LEOC, you can use it for reserves. And it's just to obtain 12 hours of training in a 12-month period. It's Occupation Code 1701.
Guys, on salaries, we anticipate anybody getting raises that's not covered by grant money? I know it's premature, but I wouldn't want somebody to walk away thinking that, you know, we just at least hadn't made a decision on salaries.
This is the first budget hearing I heard, so.
Yeah. But
Did you bring up your pay raise?
No, we have not. And I brought it up the last 3 years, and I certainly don't, or 2 years, don't mind bringing it up the third year.
I just see it and may
Yeah,
not
I
anybody
did-
get a raise, you know, we
I
don't
didn't
know.
intentionally skip by it, and I'm glad you brought it up.
But
It's got close to almost 30 years of experience, and, you know, it's, I knew what ran about what the constable office made when I ran for office. Didn't know what it paid for sure, but I never did ask Shelley or anybody else for freedom of information. I request on what they paid. Didn't know, honestly. But with that being said, I still think somebody with experience in being an elected official ought to make more than somebody that comes out of the police academy. It's just the way I feel. And I've asked for $3,000 more than what I think they make. And I got I don't know what page it's on, but page 3. On the, if you look in the Texas Association County website, there's 5, they got us lumped in 5 different counties: Cass, Chambers, Cooke, Erath, and Fannin. And if you take out the 2 lowball counties, well then, we're not getting paid what the average constable is making. You add them in there, then we're making more. When I say lowball, you got one of them making $12,403, according to this website, and the other one making $34,000. Obviously, when you add them into the mix and you divide it, that's going to lower the total amount, which makes ours look like we're making more than the average amount. But those are obviously quite a bit lower amount. And then you got the high one, Chambers, it's almost 75,000. It's a lot higher. So I don't think that being unrealistic, asking for 5, it puts us in right up there in the average. And as I said, I think that being an elected official, and then on top of that, having experience, it ought to pay more than somebody coming right out of the police academy. It's my personal opinion.
I think it's one of those things, personally, we'll just have to consider when we consider raises in general. You know, we know we got some folks that's gonna get raises because of legislative changes and stuff of that nature. But beyond that, it's premature to say there won't be any, but I don't know how we would,
I understand.
you know,
If you don't ask, you don't know.
absolutely.
That's true.
And I don't want somebody to walk away thinking, hey, nobody said anything.
Right. I don't think I've been unreasonable with my budget request. Some may think I have been, but I've asked for the vehicle for 3 years now, and they keep going up, and they're not going to go down.
So you said earlier you don't have a reserve car? Is that what?
No,
I
sir.
thought you kept that car.
Well, I kept it, but it doesn't run right now. I'd have to, if they wanted to come out and get in it, I'd have to go buy a battery.
Okay.
Is that Crown Vic?
No, the Expedition, that Expedition's sitting in the parking lot. I've been told that it's going to be auctioned off at the next auction, is what I've been told, so.
Okay.
I've actually been told that I need to get it stripped down. So I assumed that was talked amongst the Commissioners Court, I don't know, but.
I haven't seen anything come across, so I didn't know.
But I haven't touched it at this point yet.
I'm sorry?
I have not done none of the, taken any of the equipment out of it, or
Okay.
taken the decals off of it at this point yet. But I don't believe I don't believe the car's safe.
Right.
That's why I didn't like it at all. It just floated and around on the roadway, and it vibrated and shimmied. I just didn't like it. And it had new tires on it.
How many miles did you say your existing car's got?
It's got 86,000, just a hair bit over 86,000. It's 2006 Crown Vic.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
Yep.
Mark?
All right, gentlemen. Thank y'all.
All right.
Anybody need this?
No, she made copies. She made copies, so we're good.
Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Good to see all of you and all the other support folks that are here. I don't think we're going to find any changes to speak of any significant amount. In the preliminary meeting that we had, I think we pretty well covered any increases, and there's two increases that I did ask for in the category of office supplies, and all that's allowing for is the unknown of inflation. Who knows what's going to happen? We noticed that when we order books, we order supplies, that it looks like the prevailing price is getting higher as everything is. So we put another $1,000 in there for that office supply, may not use it. And the other area was conference expense, which we had $2,000. And of course, because of COVID, if we go back through the previous several years, they did all of that by audio, we did not have to appear in person. And this year, they're going back to the personal schools that they have. And the reason that we put extra, it was 2,000 and we put it to 4. I've got 2 new clerks that are both interested and both want to go to clerk school. Those schools that they have are beneficial to clerks, especially new clerks coming on. And I think that would be, excuse me, that would be beneficial for them. As far as me personally, I've already been to a 10-hour class, which will carry me through next year. It was back just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to do the rest of mine, and I can do the rest of mine with the videos that they provide. So I don't, well, let me back up. I think that being a legislative year, we're going to have a school on legislative updates, which is just a one-day school, and that's usually held in Granbury. And normally I will go and the chief clerk will go, but I think that's going to be the only expense that I'm going to have as far as going to conferences. And you know, I'm not certain how this all works. If we could get the categories correct, I know that in the technology, there's also an amount over there for conference, but I know we would have to make certain that the subjects, the classes would be contained within that category. So that's something I'm not 100% certain about how that would work. The other thing, and I should have talked with the auditor about this, but I know it's been a very busy time for the auditor, but our copy machine, we have that on a 5-year lease, and that lease is up this year. In fact, I think it's up right now. There are funds in there that cover that lease. I don't have a current price, but that it has $2,200 a month, and my hope would be that that would just be a continuation and we could get a machine. This machine is starting to, let's say, not perform as it should perform. It covers a lot of the printing with darkness. There's been some problems when it won't fax. However, we have very good service with the service people. They come out almost immediately and they correct it, but it's just signs that it probably time, and that's why it was on a 5-year lease. It's probably time to exchange that, and I think we can deal with that within the budget. I don't think there's going to be any additional charge to do that. So anyway, that's kind of the long and the short of it as far as I know, as far as any changes that we would have, but I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone has pertaining to this.
You mentioned you raised the office supplies. I don't see that.
No, you put 3,000.
We need to raise that to 4.
Well, do what? Did I don't know. I had it on my copy, which was the copy, so maybe we did not put it on there when we were all meeting. You know, and it may be okay, because we don't always spend all of what it is. We're just allowing for that inflationary process, and I'm not overly concerned about that. I think that we can probably make it work. And
You've only spent $932.
Right, yes, ma'am, and if you go back through that, you'll see there was one, 22, there was going back to 19, there was 27, 22, 900. 1 year, I think we did have 3. So let's choose.
22, you spent $3,048.
Yeah. So unless there's a major change, and once again, if there's possibility of pulling something out of miscellaneous, we don't usually use miscellaneous, and there is some funds allowed in miscellaneous, a small amount. And so there's things that I think we can do. And I know that sometimes it's troublesome shifting from one category to the other, but I think that we can work within that on that 1,000 if that's not in there. I'm not too worried about that. Okay.
I did change the conference to 25. Bonds, I dropped down to $71. He has one notary, so I don't know if he might need another one, and he was elected last year, so that $178 is good for 4 years. And on the law books, I changed to 500. There haven't been any law books bought since 2021. 20 spent $458. So that's 2 sessions ago.
You changed it to 5, yeah, from 9, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Any other questions, Russ?
None for me, unless any of you have questions.
Judge, are you doing any payment plans out of your office?
We're doing what, please?
Any payment plans out of your office?
Payment plans?
Yeah.
We do, but we do it in a special way. You know, we are required to allow people to pay on a timely basis. And if they can't pay immediately, then we can do several things. And what we have been doing, and conferring with some other judges and conferring with other officers, not necessarily in this county, but also in this county, when you set up a payment plan, $50 a month or whatever, you're just like the old retail store that used to do layaway, and then people didn't bring it in. What happens is they don't pay. Now you have to send them notices. Then if they continue not to pay, then you have to really go back to square one where they didn't complete their part of the agreement, and you go back and you have to backtrack and you go ahead and find them, whatever was going to happen originally, that you let them pay this out. Sometimes it's on diversion, sometimes it's for some other reasons. But I will tell you, it causes a tremendous amount of work to do that. But the code does say that we are to allow people alternatives to pay if they can't pay. What we do is that we will give them a continuum. We'll say, okay, how long is it going to take you? They say, well, I need about 4 months. Okay, take $50, buy you a money order, put it in your underwear drawer, keep it there, and come back. We will give you additional time to do that, but we make them the banker instead of us the banker, but we allow them that additional time with no additional expense. So I think that we meet the criteria of the code when we do that. It puts the onus on them because they're asking for the court to give them additional time to pay. And what that does, you can add some extra fees to it, but believe me, the fees do not compensate for the extra personnel time. It can take, with as many tickets as you do and as many people that need to pay out, you could almost have a clerk doing that all the time, trying to keep up with that. But so far, it's worked well. I mean, we haven't had anybody that's taken exception to it.
At the end of that 4 months, if they haven't paid or can't pay, then you still start the process
We
over, I
will
guess.
start the process at that point. We always have to take into consideration, and it's a major issue now, of indigency. And indigency is not what you and I think indigency is. In fact, I don't go into great detail explaining it to them. They can find it out on their own if they want to know. But indigency, as we are required to go by, has to do with well, you cannot touch any kind of documents, any kind of property that they have that is exempt property, and they can own a brand, $800,000 house and a brand new BMW that's paid for. That's irrelevant. If they're not earning 125% of the federal poverty guideline, they are, by law, they are indigent, and we have to treat that accordingly. So there's a lot of things that, Commissioner, that if you do go out like that, we just have one time we find out about it, and then at the end of it, we just go ahead and do whatever it is we have to do. As opposed to, every month going through it. So instead of being it on a monthly basis, it's on a one-time basis.
Anything else?
Then he has his other special funds.
The what?
His other special funds, tech and
Yes.
courthouse security.
We have two funds, and we don't get into those very often. There's a technology fund and the courthouse security fund, and there's substantial balances in both of those funds. And that's why I was saying that if there's any way, even like conference expense, any of that type thing, if we can use and access some of those funds, that helps the general budget. But
Now-
you have to be very cautious, and it has to be certain subject matter before
Right.
you can do that.
You can only use tech funds and conference for tech funds if the conference has a class for tech.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's my
Separate it
understanding. So we kind of have to get a curriculum ahead of time before we know whether we could even use those funds or not.
So, Shelley, so even though,
Statute dictates what that money can be spent on.
right, but he has to budget for it each year just in case it needs to be used.
Yes,
And then it goes back into the fund.
yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything in orange is their own
For
fund.
some reason, I don't remember that last year or the year before.
That's the way.
Maybe
it's-
because we didn't do these individual hearings.
Yeah, but
Some
you
of the
still,
stuff-
you still got these copies.
Right, right. Good.
Anybody else got anything? You got anything for us?
Thank you, Judge.
No, sir. I think that that covers it. I appreciate all of your good work, and I thank you for your time.
All right, flattery will get you nowhere.
Oh, I always try.
Good try. Thank you, Judge.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Santa hidden?
Hey, we like those.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Well, they're gonna fill us up.
we've been invaded. Keith, what day did you say that was gonna be on? The 4th. We're gonna have the 4th of July on the 4th, right? Okay. That's a good day to have it. All right. Next is Justice of the Peace Precinct 1. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Don't know if y'all have had an opportunity to look over the proposed budget. I've had an opportunity to speak with the proposed budget. My budget's no increases asked for in any categories, with the exception of I have asked for a new clerk, an additional clerk for the office. My technology budget is less than last year. My security budget is unchanged, I believe. Is that correct, Shelley?
I think it went down a little bit.
Maybe down a little. We haven't used anything for that. We did use some money out of the technology budget for staff training on that data system this past year, and have used some money out of that budget for computer replacements. So it's actually less than it was in last year's budget. Spend a minute talking about the the increase in the clerk salary, or in the clerk category. To add an additional clerk, the net cost of that would be $54,420. That includes salary, the insurance, the retirement, all the benefits, and all the FICA. So that's the total price. Want to note a few things. Our office has not increased staff size since December of 2001. So we've been the same staff size that entire time. Since December 2001, though, the load in our office has increased dramatically. We went from 5 troopers to 10 troopers and a sergeant to 2 commercial motor vehicle troopers in the county. So we've more than doubled the amount of troopers that are out, writing tickets in our office. Of course, y'all know our population has increased. With that, it increases the load, the amount of things the officers do have. Debt claims and small claims. In the last legislative session, changed from jurisdiction of up to $10,000 for a case to $20,000. With that came increases in our office load. So we get a considerable amount more debt claims and small claims filed than we did before because those jurisdictional limits have been increased. So with just the combined loads in the offices, the programs that our office does offer, we do offer payment plans in our office. And Judge Johnson is right. Payment plans it takes management of that. We have people that we sign up for a payment plan and they make a payment and make 2 payments and then they stop. Well, it takes staff to track that down, get it back under their attention, get them back in compliance, get them back in line, and get them back going. But I do think it's worth it. I think that effort's worth it. I think if y'all will look at some of the documents that I've provided you, you look at the projected amount of revenue, and I don't know whether revenue is the right word, but the projected amount of money that comes in the way of fines, court costs, and fees, you'll see that has increased dramatically along with these programs. I continue to try to work with our violators. I especially like to work with our kids, try to give them every option, every avenue that's available to them to try to help them succeed instead of just pure punishing them for making a mistake. But again, those things they have to be managed. Deferrals have to be managed. Driver safety courses have to be managed. And payment plans have to be managed. So we do try to work with them all we can. We're just maxed out. My staff is just maxed out. I can't ask for more of them. I can't expect to try to get more out of them. It's not there. In order for us to continue to maintain the programs that we've got going, I see this staff member as an essential need. I don't know how we'll be able to maintain without it. Without it, I'll have to start looking at other alternatives. And, something may have to go away. I don't want that. I don't think that's the idea. I don't think it's productive. And although the money that comes into our office through fines and costs and fees, that's not what we base our operation on. But I do think it does warrant at least saying that there's more than adequate coming in to support the extra position that I am requesting. I provided y'all with a spreadsheet of numbers in our department. Y'all can look at those spreadsheets in our proposed category, and you can see in many of those categories, we've increased our vote over the last 2 years, as much as 60, 70% in each of those categories. With this year, I expected the increase is going to be 35% in all of those categories. So I believe you can see from those numbers, we don't have time to go with each one, but you can see that our caseload or our office load has increased dramatically. Be happy to try to answer any questions anybody may have, or
Well, if you get a new employee, will you need a desk and a phone and chair?
we still have an additional workstation. We have an additional window station. It does have a computer. It's always been our backup, or sometimes we have to, load our lobby load is more than we can handle at one window, so we open that other window. That's where this person can be placed.
Okay.
So we do have that. It's our oldest computer. We've been replacing computers 2 a year. That cycles them through about every 3 years. And that's about life expectancy of them. So we're in pretty good shape there. I think we may need to replace 1 or 2 before the end of the year. But that was expected. That's not a new expense.
And that would come out of your tech money.
It would, as long as that's available. It is declining. As we're using it, it seems to decline. I don't know why it's not replenishing, but
I think it's the way they changed up the courthouse distribution back in 20, maybe 22.
okay. I know the same money to go to tech fund is in that LCC fund that was in just when it was in home.
Yeah.
But
And it gets put to that fund if that's a part of it.
okay.
Jody and I talked about it, but for several years, we were able to use workforce help. And it's my understanding now, those folks just aren't available.
They're not available. We haven't been able to place one since COVID.
Do you hear anything any different to that, Elizabeth?
They're very hard to find, because there's so many restrictions.
Limited incomes and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay.
She helped me before. We were able to secure one. We've secured 2 since I've been in office. That's that elder senior fund. It's a minimum page fund, minimum wage fund. It's all they make is minimum wage. That makes it hard whenever, now even with the elderly, when they're trying to get back in the workforce, jobs are out there now. So it's just, and for them to come to even be eligible, they have to be at the poverty level on income. So you can't take for example, we had a retired teacher that really wanted something to do, needed a place to be. It would have been healthy for her to have been able to have done this. It wasn't about money, it wasn't about income for her. It was something that she would have liked to have done. I think she would have been a great asset to us. But because she got teacher retirement, she's not eligible. She makes more money than the program that they're eligible for. We have a retired nurse, the same way. Wanted to try to do this, but wasn't eligible because didn't meet the criteria because of retirement. So you take a lady, and I should say lady, but you take a person that's getting Social Security. If they've got anything in addition to that, they're going to be making more money than they're going to be eligible. Than it's going to allow them to be eligible for that program. We haven't had anybody that they've even been able to submit to us in a couple of years, and I don't see that changing. Do you, Elizabeth, do you see that changing anytime?
Good while it was there.
I don't want to, and I don't want to, we've still got an application on file with them, so if they had somebody and they needed to place them, and they call us, we could certainly be willing to look at it and try to make it work. It helps them, it can sure help us, so.
Anybody have any questions for Judge Henry?
Thank you.
None? Do you have any for us?
No, I appreciate your support. Y'all entrusted a lot to me whenever y'all put me in. I hope I haven't disappointed you.
Well,
I'll continue to try, do the best I can.
we appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Well, emergency management fire marshal, what would that be? What do you have?
Text Ray?
He's out of town.
He's out now. Oh, who's doing it?
Probably everything's pretty standard except for what these guys are here for.
Well,
More money.
is
Let's
it
get it
more
done.
money?
Can't
More money,
see you,
man.
but I can recognize your voice from a mile away.
Yeah, you know that. You know that was.
Keith, go ahead and speak for us.
I did.
In Ray's, Department 407, he has money for contract services, that would be to hire somebody, helping with the safe room grant. However, I think that would be a part-time employee, is that correct, Jacob? Because it'd be a person.
I mean, if it's part-time,
Right,
That's
so
what he
it's not
said,
even
that-
in the right line.
I didn't know if it was part-time, how many hours he was requesting or anything.
Well, but it would be paid for the grant, so that we shouldn't pre-budget until we haven't even been approved for the grant yet.
And if we budget nothing,
When the money
grant
comes in, we can budget the revenue and the expense at the same time.
He's done that before, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
but we can discount that 18.6,
Yeah. So
subtract it off
just
that
take
total.
that, yeah, that'd be zero. On his telephone, his line was so much in the past few years because he was paying for the iPhones, during COVID. And so now he's just paying for his own hotspot. And he might have an extra one, I think, but, reduce that to $1,000 from 1,900. And the same with the line 407, 476, the mitigation grant, he's got 100,000. We haven't been approved for that grant either, but once it comes in, I can budget the revenue and the expense for that, so I made that zero.
What line item are you on there for 100?
407, 476,
Oh, okay. I see that 100,000 now.
yeah, I made that zero. He has 2 hotspots. And then in the fire marshal budget, he himself reduced his dues down from 150 to 140. And then I'll leave the pagers in the volunteer fire departments for the gentleman.
We just spent 20,000, but that was, I guess it's 19, no? It's showing 19,000 in 22, and he just spent 18 or 19,000.
What are you, oh, on pagers?
471?
Yeah,
I wonder if that bill hadn't come in yet.
in 23?
Yeah. I saw the invoice.
Well, this report's from March.
Yeah, okay, so in theory, I think he spent somewhere around this same number already this year for pagers.
Right now, he spent $18,800.50.
Okay.
So if we're looking at this new system or new pagers, do we need to put that in that line until we know if we're gonna do that or not?
We need batteries? Christian had a bunch earlier.
Because this line item is really supposed to be for repairs, I think.
Well, he purchased out of it.
Again,
Well, that
probably,
18,000.
but they need to be tagged.
I just don't want us not to fund if we, whichever way we go, I mean, if we add another antenna or more equipment, where do we need to put that in at?
That'll come out of,
Non-departmental? Okay.
Yeah, for him.
Volunteer fire departments.
Drop that on the floor, they look terrible.
Oh, I don't need them. Need any of these? Can't have shooting.
Who's gonna speak for y'all?
My name's Kyle Patterson. I'm with the Kalispell Volunteer Fire Department. This year, we're wanting to increase our annual contract rate from $15,000 to $20,000. Do away with the,
your amount this past year was $14,500.
sorry, $14,500. And do away with the $250 per every 50 calls. You go to every call $10.
And Ray turned in, you wanted to go to 25,000. Not 20.
Okay, was it 25? Yes. Okay, my bad, 25. And last year, my department made a little over 560 calls. And when we broke it down, it was $4.90 a call. The way fuel is, maintenance, all that stuff on equipment, we run more than 2 apparatuses mainly, so it's just not enough in our opinion. And I know our expenditures from October 21 to September 22 this year was roughly around $119,000. And that's, we have our fundraisers, we are not doing one of them this year. We're not doing our fireworks sale because if that increased as well from $10,000 to $31,000 for fireworks. That's what it's going to cost us to purchase them. So we did away with that. We're not doing that. And plus, it's getting to be, we've got roughly around 26 to 27 members on our department, and these fundraisers are getting to be a big headache. It takes a lot, months in advance planning our annual, especially our big one in October. I'm about to start, here it is in July, I'm fixing to start here towards October. And we just need a little bit of help, And I know one department had 99 calls and they only received $250 for those 99 calls. So that's about all I can come up with right now.
I'm sure y'all's insurances went up.
Our insurance
Probably like
roughly
ours.
is, as I have increased my deductibles in order to keep my expenses down, and we were running around $10,000 a year for it, so I had to do something, so hopefully we don't have any accidents, filing claims on that. Yeah, our insurance, roughly around $8,800 a year. Our truck expense was in the neighborhood of around 18,000, and this year we're wanting to actually hire a grant writer, a company to write grants. So that's going to be around 3,500 or more for them to do that for us.
Are you speaking just for Calsburg?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And I mean, the opening statement, we all agreed upon, we all talked in a meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if T-Cog would do any of y'all's grant writing?
sir,
I wonder if T-Cog would do any of your grant writing?
we haven't discussed it.
Might be worth a phone call. I mean, that's what they do, and it might save you $3,500.
So, I mean, we tried to put in for a FEMA grant this year, and it's, we don't know if we got it or not yet, so, and our main water source, our tender, it's just been one thing after another with it. It's currently down at the moment, it's been down. And being a rural fire department, that's your number one asset, in my opinion, is water. You gotta have water. And thank God we got other departments close by with the volume they carry, so.
Anybody else?
I'm Trish Taylor with the Valley View Volunteer Fire Department, and I just wanted to throw in there that not only do we work for the citizens of Cooke County, but we also mutual aid to other counties outside of Cooke, and we also respond to state disasters. Every department here has been asked to respond, to Love County, to, even up to Wichita Falls and that sort of thing. So the more money that we can get to help us keep our apparatus going, keep fuel in the trucks, everything has gone up this year, insurance. So I just wanted to also add that on behalf of all of us too.
Thank you.
Shane Riley with the Air Volunteer Fire Department. And responding to Wichita Falls, we actually had 2 tires run that weren't reimbursed, so out there as well. So that's part of our expense. But one thing I wanted to add to it is we're kind of the middle of the road on how many calls a year we take with all the volunteer fire departments. Last year the fiscal year, we ended with 112 calls, which is the most we've ever taken. And last year was the most we'd ever taken in the year before. So I don't know why, there's a trend. We're taking, each department's, I think, in the same boat, taking more calls every year. So as you know, that's adding expense on fuel and insurance and supplies and maintenance and running those trucks. So it does take its toll. Our department, again, we're middle of the road on size. Our budgeted expenses that we put together is about $86,000. We won't end up spending that. We'll have to back off if money does or doesn't come in. It's kind of how we normally do that. You guys know how budgets work, but that's with insurance, repairs, everything. That's where we budget. So, but anyway, 112. I think last year we took 95, but I went back to 2004 and that 53 calls in 2004 to 112 now. So how fast it can continue to grow, I don't know. What exactly causing the growth, I don't know either. In our case, I think it's been more wrecks than anything. There's kind of an idea there too. Which there's a lot of supplies that we have to purchase Right now, we actually put in for a grant. We did hire a grant writer too. And we have a grant we're trying to get for extrication equipment, which is very expensive. It's about a $20,000 grant just to supply one truck or put stuff in one truck. So pretty expensive. Any questions?
I had a couple. You say you've already hired a grant writer?
We did. She's worked with us on one grant so far.
How's that, or how has that, is it, did you get the grant, or?
We'll find out next week.
Okay, you haven't got it yet.
Don't know.
We all pay the grant writers per grant or something like a.
In her, they're all different. I've actually searched for a couple years trying to find a grant writer. This one was paid by the hour. We agreed upon a certain number of hours that we would pay her for this grant. Some work on commission if they get the grant, but I was able to find one. This is just the one we found. Happened to be a sister-in-law or somebody in my department that knew me. They tell me this 2 years ago. I've been looking. So.
Have any of y'all heard of applying for grants through Firehouse Subs?
We actually have, we applied for one, tried a couple years ago, we didn't get it, yes. I don't know if anyone else
We
has.
just did as well. We just did.
It's coming open in July.
Yeah.
So are you also gonna eliminate all of your fundraisers?
No. I
started to say, I've been
No.
suckered in here then about this 4th of July business.
Yep. Our fundraiser we have in March every year. We kind of kick off the year with fundraisers. We have it in spring break for the beginning of falls. So we've already had our fundraiser this year. And then we will be shooting our fireworks show on the 4th. Fireworks show, we don't usually make as much off of anyway, but it's good to give back to the community sometimes. And with our sponsorships, it does breaks even, maybe make just.
And for any of you who haven't been to any of these fundraisers before, I'll tell you, all the fire departments put on some of the best that you will, all over the county.
We work hard for it.
That's right, you do.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Did I say that right, Keith? Okay.
Hello, I'm Bill Tackett with North Shore Fire Department. I'll try to make it short and sweet. Our insurance is $13,500 and our expenses was $80,000 last year. One of that was a $30,000 pump for our engine. And it just goes on and on and on. I know that 25 sounds like a lot of money, but in the big scheme of things, it's not a tenth of what we spend. And so we would really appreciate any help you could give us on that. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Who's next?
Nick Tiller with Callisburg Fire. TCOG don't help really with fire grants at all. Primarily for county use, not departments. FEMA stuff, FEMA grants or your grant writers, you know, anywhere from $1,500, $3,500, the one we're looking into. He'll do, I think, one major grant, two small ones, and that's him doing all the work. $1,500, he can help us do it, but I got a full-time job. I put a lot of time in the department anyways. This last year, the one FEMA grant I did was a lot. And like everybody else here, we got kids and family to take care of, along with spending all of our time fighting fire, and they're still trying to write a grant or do something. Thank you.
You mentioned TCOG. Has anybody talked to anybody at TCOG, or I mean, how do you know that they?
I just asked an individual, they said they don't do for.
Okay. Okay.
Be like for y'all.
And that money's not there either. I talked to Stephanie the other day about this for our paging system, and she's like, good luck. So, I mean, the FEMA's not letting that money go to them, or the state's kind of pulled back on a bunch of that too. So.
Okay. Anybody else? Is that it?
Thank y'all.
Do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Stay safe. Who was next?
Under 3 o'clock, is that all right?
Well, we got,
We got several.
yeah,
Flip a
it's
coin.
kind of a first come, first served. So,
Is our DA gonna show up?
Not on the list.
What? See not on today's agenda?
No, we got hotel.
no, this is,
Okay, that's
Hot
good.
runs now.
Thank you, sir. I'm good. I don't know what list I was looking at, but not the right one. apparently.
thank you, sir.
Yep, Tommy. Thank you. Thank you.
Reduce your time down to 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
And it started 2.5 minutes ago,
Yeah, that
Tommy,
started
when you walked in the door.
three, down to 3 minutes.
Just started the clock.
1.
Am I good to go? All right. Thank you all very much. I'll be quick. You know, in 2001, Medal of Honor Host City program started.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to, if you would you please identify?
Oh, identify
yourself
myself.
for the,
Okay. I'm Tommy Moore.
yeah,
I am the president of the Medal of Honor Host City program.
that's for the tape. Do the work.
Yeah. Some days I have to figure out who I am. We're ready to go, okay? The program started, and at that time, there were 150 living Medal of Honor recipients living in America out of the 3,515 that have been awarded in our nation's history. The vision for that program was to introduce the everyday person to a hero, someone that actually went out and put on a uniform and served their country, and not somebody in a cape, but somebody with a jersey number. Well, it was all very organic. It came to fruition over the years, and it has grown into a pretty amazing program that serves all of North Texas in 4 days in April every year. As I took over president 6 years ago now, we started to realize that most of our heroes that wear this decoration, which is the highest military honor that can be bestowed upon a military person, they were getting older, and they were starting to travel less frequently and things like that. So we came up with the idea of putting a museum together. And we worked with North Central Texas College in the state of Texas to secure funding for that museum to come to fruition. If you haven't driven out by Bonner Road in 51 lately, the foundation of the slab was poured. Steel's being delivered today, and we should start seeing that erected this week. So, very exciting project for the college and for us here in Cooke County. But we're still a little shy on some parts of our project. It's on the last page there. We're like $250,000 short for a flag plaza. Now, again, this is just one thing that I wanted to put tangible for you guys to entertain. And I realize, I don't know how much money you guys have to spend, but if you swing at the fence, right? But there are other costs that we need to cover, like content of the museum. So any dollars that can be spent out of your hotel motel funds for either history or advertising would be much appreciated for our program. I feel like we're going to bring a lot of people to town over this. The reason we selected North Central Texas College is because in 2016 they had 120,000 people come across that campus. And this puts something on that campus and gives them another destination.
We require receipts, so is this just going into your campaign fund, or you actually
We can
started?
provide receipts.
You've already started construction?
Yes. But this was the flag plaza was a bid that we requested. So we have a building, what do you call it? We have a bid on it, $250,000.
But I thought your request was only for 70?
Oh, so what we were requesting is what the city did. I'll just throw that back at you. So I reduced that a little bit, but what they did for us is they gave us $70,000 a year over a 5-year period. And that came out to $350. So the $250 would be what?
You gonna spread it out over 5 years?
Yeah.
$50,000 a year.
Down there. Anyway, it's for your consideration. Any questions about museum project?
I know at one time you had some figures, and I didn't see it in here anywhere, about how many people do you estimate come into Cooke County every year for your activities, the Medal of Honor, and actually spend the night and come in here just for that purpose?
Yeah, well, you know, we pretty much take over the Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
From, just for our program.
Right.
So there's receipts there. We spend, probably $18,000 just for our program. We have people travel over from Michigan, from New York, not counting our recipients, but people that came here just to be part of the program. California, South Carolina, North Carolina, I mean, they're from every state in the union. You know, we don't have any intel on that, but I would say 25,000 people in a 4-day period could serve. I mean, our motorcade coming into town alone is about 1,000 people. And that's just the people in the motorcade, not counting the people that stand along the roadways and come here to be a part of that celebration.
That has grown year by year by year.
It has. And, you know, now the news media doesn't wait till the day. They start calling the week ahead saying, hey, what's going on? Can you tell us more? So it does bring tax revenue to the county. It does bring hotel heads and beds. We feel that it's only going to grow. With this museum, it's going to be a destination place year round instead of waiting for the 4 days in April.
Yeah.
And we are working in cooperation with the National Museum in Arlington. And for the record, we were before them. They decided to build theirs after they knew we were building ours. So their budget's a little bigger, but
You've already broken ground. They just broke ground out there the other day, didn't they? Or...
Well, the foundation is poured here.
Okay.
So steel will start being erected now.
Yeah.
They're a little ahead of us, but that's okay.
But Tom, your total ask is $250 over 5.
$250 over 5, yes, sir.
And are y'all getting some help? Is Windstar wanting to try to partner with you guys and give you some help?
No, they're a member of our program. They're good. They do support us financially, but they've not offered any money for any of this project. And again, like I was telling you, I was giving you an opportunity to entertain money for us for either the Flag Plaza or if you want to help out in some other way, that would be great.
We just got a lot of asking. 50,000 over 5 is much more palatable than 250 up front.
Right. Well, anything helps. So thank you. Any questions for me? No. Thank you for your time today, and I know it's a long day for you all.
Who's next?
Go on the computer and be here as part of it. Heritage. How are you?
Okay.
Continue on, I'll listen.
Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Lily Palmer. I am the Chamber Director in Munster. When I got hired on, it's going to be 8 years, October 1st. I got hired on as a Chamber Director, and I was very excited because I did not know what I was going to do. 17 days, we had our 3rd Oktoberfest. This year, we'll be celebrating our 11th Oktoberfest with a lot of people understanding about planning and stuff. We do have the 2 events. So today, I'd like to, thank y'all last year for the funds that you did give us. That was the first year that we received hotel tax, and we greatly appreciate it. Now this year, we are asking for 2 separate funds. One are for booths. Booths are for our tickets or for our admissions, for our outside gates. That's where we sell our tickets and stuff. I know this is a really dumb question, but have y'all been to German Fest and Oktoberfest?
Of course.
Yes? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
good. Just want to make sure. Because before I started this job, I just went just to check out what was going on. I did not know anything. I moved out here in how many years? 11 years ago. So I did not know about fests and how great they are and what they do for a community. When I got here, I understood that Munster only has 1,700 people in the city limits, and we bring close to 20,000 just during the spring event. During our Oktoberfest, we're getting close to 10, so we're bringing 30,000. So I think we're housing somebody during those 3 days at least, or 6 days. I put this little packet together for you, and I wanted to just kind of read that first page really quick, because I read a lot of the instructions. I kind of like to read a little bit. And it's right on that first page. I highlighted, it says, by the laws of Texas, the revenues from the HOT may be used only to directly promote tourism and the convention and hotel industry. The use of HOT funds is limited to. And I looked at all those 5 and I was like, wow, we do those. So I was pretty excited. Between the dance and the drama and all the different stuff that we bring for our German heritage, we do that. All the material that we send out, I also added up what we normally spend on a yearly basis for our advertising costs, and we spend anywhere between $76,000 a year to 80-something thousand a year. That is including German Fest and Oktoberfest and other advertisements, so we are bringing people to Cooke County. So I put that we would like to get $21,600 for buildings and $99,800 for billboards. Billboards, I understand, I still haven't secured any property to get billboards on, so the building is the one I'm concentrating on. I'm concentrating on $21,600 for Oktoberfest, $21,600 for German Fest buildings, and those are those booths that I just spoke with. My goal is that we will continue to be self-sustaining after this little help. But we did a little bit of research for after German Fest, and there was one hotel that does ask, as part of their protocol, how many people do stay in their hotels and what their purpose is. 70% of their hotel stays were for German Fest. The other was a party for a wedding venue that was somebody was having a wedding. The wedding occurred, I guess they didn't go on the honeymoon, because they came to German Fest. So all those people came over there too. So it's pretty exciting. So I know that all of the stays that we have in Cooke County, at least in my little area of Munster, Lindsay, and any of those little surroundings that I could talk to, are booked both times, both 6 months out, a year out. I know that Turtle Hill, Seiler House, Schilling House, those are just from the Munster. But I know that when I talk to the hotels, they're kind of excited because they know the dates that we're going to be here. I usually advertise ahead of time that we're going to have these events. I know that they're there. Again, I know that one of our reasons we get these hotel tax is just to continue to bring tax into our county, and I'm very excited. But just on the cheapest billboards that we have, which is, and I will say, we have one on 35, which is at the dairy, and we try to keep that one up to date. That one, the family does a generous gift to us for $200 a month. And then we have one in Lindsay. They also only charge us $200 and something a month. I'm saying between the 2 billboards, we pay $6,000. As a chamber, or as what we do, we spend close to $80,000. That's why I want to just put that bug in your ear that I'm looking for our own billboards so that we don't have to also have, because these are affordable billboards. These aren't digital billboards that we spend money on. This isn't other billboards that we are, constantly looking to see where we could put our funds at. So, do you have any questions? One more thing, sorry. I do have pictures on a page too, because, everybody, I'm very visual. So close to the middle page, there's a picture, and that's our parking lot. Somebody did a drone footage. So that is the amount of vehicles that is on our event during that time. And then on another page, I have, which is this page, I don't know if you can see it, but it shows where everybody is clicking during the month of March and April through May, where they're clicking from. They're clicking from Fort Worth and the Dallas area. So I'm assuming that they're wanting to come out and visit us out here. So those are just some of the little things, but I probably have way more stuff that I could share with you if you have any questions or need me to be of interest. But we are looking to, between the two booths, the two events, we would like the 43, I think it's $43,000. I can provide you, yeah. I don't know, I might have to make you copies. Can I do that for you? She would like one? I'll get you one. You got Matt's? I could get Matt one. And would you like me to get you another one?
I'll just make it.
Very good, thank you.
So your 43,000 was for what?
The booths, the entry booths and like the ticket booths and for our gates outside. I would love it for advertisement. I would love it for personnel because I am almost a one-person person there. And I could use it for so many other things. Like when y'all gave us the money for the tents last year, that was so generous and that helped out so much. But if you need something tangible, because that was what I was made, then I would like some booths to make the event look prettier, and hopefully more guests will come and find it more pleasing when they have to pay parking, etc.
So Lily, your ask for both events is 43,000?
Yes, 21, I think it was 21. I divided it between both of them.
What line, right here under 318, it's
21,
34.
6.
And then under the chamber, it's 7, that's 41. Am I looking under the right line items?
Well, in total, they asked for 242,000.
Well, because I was including the billboards.
Okay, but now the proposed is,
There's two separate submissions in here, one for Munster, one for German Fest, and one for Oktoberfest.
Correct.
okay, I see German Fest, Heritage Park, and then I see,
Heritage Park's different.
okay, and then I see Munster Chamber,
That's me.
That's her.
and under the proposed is 34,000. And she's asking for 43. Okay, and so y'all said 34 is what you want to offer. Okay.
This is this page. I have 21,600, 99,800 for billboard. It's like the second page.
Okay, yeah. It's hard when this is handed. I want to try to pay attention to you, and I want to try to digest. It's
Down here.
And because it's on two separate apps.
okay. I just wanted to.
The only reason I do that too is because I have to present my stuff to a board, and so I need to show numbers to two different events.
Statistics help.
It does.
But it's hard to digest and pay attention to your presenter, or at least for me it is. I don't know about these other guys.
Any questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hi.
Hello.
Linda Clement with Heritage Park. I'm sorry I did not bring anything to give y'all to look at. I believe I did present the information that was requested, so I'm hoping you have that. Just wanted to, I'm kind of following in with Lily here. We house German Fest and Oktoberfest. Not just those events, we have over 60,000 people that we bring in. They shop, stay throughout the area in the city and surrounding cities. We are looking at building a restroom to help all of these events, and also our campers that come in every year off 82, it would really help them as well. I know that's a large amount that we asked. Obviously, anything would help. There's lots of things that we could use this money for, from lighting to advertisement. So I would really appreciate anything you guys could do for us. Is there any questions?
Any questions?
Are you a 501c3?
Yes, we are.
I'll ask you the same question I asked
Okay.
before. There's probably no way in the world that you could answer this. And it kind of goes along with German Fest and Oktoberfest, but a good idea, just a wag at how many people from out of county come in and stay in the county. And
So I kind of looked at just
Heritage, I
Heritage
guess you would include all sorts of activities, not just,
Oh, correct, yes. We rent our facility out to all different kinds of events, from weddings to festivals to nonprofit events. The Munster Volunteer Fire Department, we have all kinds of different organizations that use our facility. If we didn't have this facility, it would be very difficult for them to go anywhere else and do this. With all those monies that we do get from rentals, I will tell you, it's very, very difficult to keep the building open because we're so big and it takes so much, just insurance alone and utilities, to keep this thing going. Does that answer your question? All right, thank you.
anybody else have any? Who's next? Here, taking center stage.
Where's the snacks?
Yeah,
Where's the snacks?
you spoiled us over the years.
You didn't bring snacks?
Mine are down in the office down
You're
there.
supposed to bring them here. And
Well, I've
there's
got-
mail at my house, so
I-
I'll deliver that too.
Must be me, it says the honorable.
So we're gonna speak together in Aldo first. My name's Katie Brinkley, and I'm volunteering with the Gainesville Area Chamber of Commerce. And we are requesting funds for a mural, for a Welcome to Gainesville mural in downtown. So we're also, in addition to requesting the funds for the mural, we're requesting permission from the county to use the west-facing wall of the DPS building. So I'm assuming that's like
Which
a.
bill, I'm sorry.
The DPS building.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to the actual process of putting out the call to artists, and that's under the red tab in the little folder I gave you. Call to artists that I've put together that goes over in detail right as you come into downtown. And then after the completion of the mural by Small Business Saturday, which would be kind of kicking off the holiday season, there would be like a ribbon cutting and a reception and a start of a photo contest to really encourage people to walk downtown, see the businesses, restaurants, take pictures with the murals that we do have. We have 6 so far downtown, so this would be the 7th one. And then I'll let Brenda talk unless you have a question for me.
How does it get maintained? If it starts fading or?
So the mural requirements are for it to last 10 years, which is pretty typical. It's going to require a brick primer coat and an anti-graffiti clear coating. And that's pretty industry standard for all called a mural artists. Most artists are using exterior paints that, just like you paint your house. I mean, eventually you're going to have to repaint your house. So same concept.
And probably, as far as permission to use the wall, that probably needs to come back to court under a different.
Yeah,
paint
that
like
would be a
you.
different, I guess,
Yeah.
item, I suppose.
Yeah.
But just kind of a side note.
Yeah, I think probably have to come back and do that.
So my name is Brenda Starnes, and I'm representing the Gainesville Chamber of Commerce team today. So Jennifer's out of town, and I'm the chairman of the board this year. So just to kind of let you know what we're doing, we wanted to add another event to what we currently do in Gainesville. And so we're looking at, it's in your yellow section, we're looking at adding a taste of art, kind of do a culture event around art and food tastings. And then also that would be an event that would give showcase to the murals as well. But as Katie mentioned, what we want to do is have a grand opening ceremony, bring people to town with the mural, have them visit all the murals and shop and eat while they're here, have an experience here in Gainesville. If you look at, I think it is the second to last page in the yellow section, it identifies the different visitors of what we bring into our current events today. So between Summer Sounds, Wine Stroll, and Depot Day, it generates about a little over 10,000 visitors. And we assume this isn't taking into account any hotel stays. This is just if they come in for the day, spend the day here, average spend of $150 per day per person, which generates for these 3 events about $1.5 million in revenue. And then based on adding a new event, it would be another approximate 500K, which would generate about 41,000 in tax base for us. So, we're not asking very much for this first mural. We are going to add plaques, so I know you've already donated a couple of murals in town. So when we add the plaques, it will tell who donated it as part of the showcase of the murals as well.
Brenda, you get any help from Gainesville on this at all?
We will solicit them for another mural next. So all of the events will be taken care of by the Chamber of Commerce. And then this is the first mural that we want to put just to kind of showcase Gainesville for people to take photos with. And we've developed a mural committee as well. So we're not going to keep it really local to Gainesville. We're looking at what can we do long-term for the county to bring people in. We advertise on a billboard in the Fort Worth area, Fort Worth, Dallas area, and also we do radio plugs if you've heard them with 95.9 as well, the radio station.
See, I'd already say welcome to Cooke County, especially if Gainesville's not chipping in,
Point taken. I'll hit up Tommy next.
Yeah.
As far as I know, we've only supplied hot funds for Morton Museum that we donated.
I don't think we've done anything here,
You didn't
Brenda.
do the Butterfield stage one? Okay.
No, we donate to them and they may indirectly
Okay.
funded the mural, I don't
That
think.
may have been right.
But that could be, couldn't it, Shelley? That indirectly,
I
we,
don't recall it being a part of their request.
presentation, that it's,
Yeah.
Any questions for our two speakers?
in your total ask 7,000.
Katie and Brenda, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Tell the guys we said hello.
Good afternoon.
Speaking of stage and murals. Good, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. I've got a few handouts here. Most of you have probably seen our proposal, our request. That's what happened.
I know.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do too. Who thought about
He
it?
looks good for 152, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't give anybody two copies.
I think we got our email.
And to my commissioner.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Frank Mike, I'm with Butterfield Stage. Been on the board of directors here for 14 years. A number of years ago, when the county HOT program was first announced, we set forth on a multi-year plan to improve our facilities, our productions, and our appeal to all of our patrons. This vision has been completed to a certain extent with the help of the HOT funds that we have received previously, where we have renovated the theater, made it much more attractive and useful for our patrons to visit, new sound systems, things like that. We added a building a couple years ago, which allowed us to fabricate all of the sets and increase our storage facilities. Because previously we were fabricating sets on the stage, which then, therefore, with all the dust and things that went on, we started damaging our light systems and our sound systems. You know what all that happens. Last year, we made a request, and you granted the amount that we had. We've actually made a two-part request. We said phase 1 and phase 2 would be when we come back to you this year. Before I go on to that, Butterfield has really expanded its program over the last several years. So we talked about bringing people in. This past year, we've had people come in from Missouri. We had people come in from Rolla, Missouri. We had people come in from Branson. I had folks that came in from Illinois. So we've been attracting people from out of state and out of the Cooke County area. Not to the tune of the single event type events that are here, but we provide events all year long. And in doing so, we have really expanded and done some great things. Earlier this year, we put on a program which was a ventriloquist from out of state. And as part of the contract for bringing him in, he attended and put on performances at local schools throughout the county. His presentation was so positive. It was to help the kids learn that they should listen to their teachers. They should do positive things in their life. They should listen to their parents. He presented this to over 850 grade school children in the Cooke County area. That was followed up by 4 nights of sold-out performances. I know there were people that came in from out of town just to see him, and it was standing room only. So that's just one example of the types of things that we're doing. There are new venues in town. And not long ago, I found out that some of the new meeting venues and such are posting in their venues, in their advertising, saying, when you come to town and you stay overnight with us, stop by Butterfield Stage and take in a theater event. It's a fantastic way to spend some time here in Gainesville and in Cooke County. Last year when we made our presentation, our phase 2, I think was in excess of $100,000. We have, through a lot of issues, which I won't get into, there's some detail in our presentation, we had to scale back because of property lines. We found out that the Methodist Church, as an example, owned 3 feet of property between the parking lot and the property we were on. And we couldn't use that 3 feet, and they wouldn't sell it, we couldn't sell it for a lot of internal reasons. So we rescaled, we redid the phase 2. This request, I believe, is for $60-some thousand. The purpose of this is to continue in expanding our offering. One of the things that we're finding is that our patrons, especially the ones that come from out of town, would like to have something that we can offer them as part of the show package, maybe an event in this new building to provide a cocktail hour or some snacks or something like that. Other theaters all have that capability. We don't have the space to do it. The other reason for this facility is to complete the vision. This takes into account additional space for our rehearsals. If you look at some of our programs now, our youth programs, the productions have 35 to 40 kids. I mean, these are kids that are, that tall to that tall. They're actresses, but we can't handle them all in one area just to teach them all at the same time. We have to break those up. So to do that, we have used in the past our lower theater, which is the small theater, which holds about 50 people. But now we've also added another program called Butterfield After Dark, BAD. And we have conflicting times to use that theater as well. So the additional rehearsal space and some of the other function space is really needed. This will complete our vision, which this county has been such a great part of, with all of the updates of the theater itself, the addition to the building that we put in for our fabrication areas, and now this will be the final step in our program to grow Butterfield and make it more amenable to everyone, to all the patrons, and truly I think it will help in drawing more people into the county. But we have a lot of people that come to these shows. Annually we do upwards of about 14 productions now, from main stage to children's productions. We have multiplicity of other productions that we do as well. So every time that happens, there are people coming in from out of town to stay here to enjoy what we can produce. So our request is to finish the job. What you've helped us start over the last several years, and present you with this proposal request. The last year's grant, we are breaking ground, I believe, this week to start the first phase of this two-phase project. We hope to have it completely dried in and ready to go by the end of September, so I can present our invoices to this little young lady over here, as she always asks me to do. And this will help finish out the interior and complete that aspect of our mission. Any questions?
Any questions?
My goodness.
Do you have questions of us?
No. Other than I appreciate very much the time to present to you as always. You have been such a great part of the growth of the Butterfield stage, and we just look forward to the coming years that we can continue doing what we're doing for the community.
How often are you open?
We have 4 main stage productions a year. They run for 2 weeks. We have 2 youth main stage productions a year, on the main stage, same way. We have, let's see, I think 6 or 7 other weekend productions that run 2 or 3 days each. We also have youth programs that including summer camps. We have kids coming from all over the place for summer camps. They run 3 weeks. And in addition to that, we run fall and spring classes. So, and then we have a program called Artist Showcase, which we do about every 2 to 3 months, which is a kind of a come and go program. When people come in, we have an entertainer in there. We have someone in the arts arena here that brings in paintings and artwork, and that's a complimentary program. No charge for it, but people come in and get a chance to see the theater, be entertained, and just have a nice evening. Typically on a Thursday night, we do an old time radio show, which is now on to 2 nights, and probably will go to 3 nights in another year or so. We're going to do a special Christmas program this year with in that same genre. I know John's old enough to know about the old. You are too funny. Well, we got gray hair. Okay.
What we have left.
Where the actors actually stand up, like if you've seen the videos of old time radio shows, so they stand there reading their scripts. Well, that's what we do. And it's a hilarious, fun nights now because they sell out in a couple of days. And so we're doing the same thing for Christmas this year, and that's going to become an annual event. So we can do a lot of different variety shows, and we're looking continually to upgrade our productions and expand what we offer to people. But if you look at Gainesville, I read an article on Facebook the other day. Somebody said, there's no place to go and sit down and listen to some music in Gainesville. There's not any venue that does it. Well, we've done that with Artist Showcase for the last several years. We're bringing out the music, and so that's about 4 times, 5, sometimes 4 times a year. But there is one consistent entertainment venue that has been in Gainesville and Cooke County since 1979, and that's Butterfield Stage. And so with your help and your support, as you have given it to us in the past, we think we can continue to make this grow, make it a much more, continue to increase the fun and enjoyment that people can have, and at the same time bring in people that will stay in the hotels and motels, spend money in town and in the county. Is that a long-winded answer? Is it too long-winded?
That's
And
fine, I appreciate it.
July 13th, Thursday, July 13th is opening night for Shakespeare Live.
This is, if you don't know this wonderful lady, Patty Hand, who made the presentation on my half last year.
I had an asthma attack, I thought I was going to die.
You made it through it.
Patty's our president.
And she got it bought off. I mean, it was approved, so she done good, right?
Just right up.
Any questions I can answer?
Did you all host that Buddy Holly big box?
Oh, yes, a number of years ago. My good friend John still brings that up all the time. At one point, we brought in the Winter Dance Party band, which is the only band authorized by Maria Elena Holly, who is now in control of the Buddy Holly business empire. Buddy, John Williams is a friend of mine now, plays Buddy Holly. He looks like him, he sings like him. We had the Big Bopper, we had, where the other is. But Mrs. Holly came up here too. And she danced with any man who wanted to come up and dance, including John Rowe. If you wanted to see something funny, you have her, who stands about that tall, dance with Mike Compton. Okay. So
It did happen.
that was a wonderful performance. And I've talked to John about, his band does get in this area every once in a while. I've asked him to queue us up 6 months in advance. So there's a possibility we could do that all over again. It's a great night. So that's our story. That's what we like to do for the county, for the citizens here, and it's a wonderful place to be. So if you haven't, if any of you have been to the shows, I know John has. I know Adam has. Gary, have you been to any of our productions?
I have not.
All of these years I've been coming and talking to you, and never come see us.
Needs to go.
The last few times I've tried to go, they've all been sold out.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, but not for you.
Right.
Look, we do appreciate it. And Matt, I bet you haven't been to one.
Bad, I should have had
We need
one
to
of
get
these.
straight.
This is the new system.
Thank you.
I've only got 3. Now that you two are.
Thank you.
And one more question, that great big glass case that had all the stuffed birds in it,
I don't know whatever
that was
happened.
downstairs in the children's library many years ago.
I have no idea.
I was there the night we started destroying to build the
Yeah.
theater. I was there in 1979, and it was not there. At that time,
Well, it's still there in 1950. So,
By the way, this is,
no telling.
Have you ever passed the museum?
No.
this is the last of our growth program. We have no more space. So if we can move forward with this and complete this building, this will be the last discussion of this matter that we're making to you folks. We might ask. We appreciate all of you. I appreciate this lady here. She has been so wonderful to work with over the last several years.
Will you share the secret with us?
She's nice to me.
Well, she's nice to me too, and she'll send me a note. She said, "You're off 4 cents." Okay, well, find that receipt. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next.
Who's next? Last but not least. Likely looking bunch coming up here now.
We're here with our hands out again. This year, what we're looking at, we'd like to get $100,000. We are trying to build a building back. It'll be a smaller scale than what the old building was. We've gotten so much equipment and panels and everything that needs to be brought out of our main barn. One, due to rats, coons, everything inside the building there. The other is liability of having that in there with patrons in there. I don't know, did y'all get a copy of her request? The Bible she made up?
I did.
We're growing every year. We've got more people coming every year. We're handling, I think, 3 sales this year? 4 sales this year. Then you turn around and put the youth of Cooke County, and then, that are coming to our shows, they have a bunch of the preliminary shows where the different tags, jackpot shows that they put on, and we just keep growing every year. So we need a place to go with this. This building could also be used,
Right now, they have the arts and crafts off property. This could also be turned into a building that they can do everything on our property because it'll be on concrete. It's not gonna be heated, it's not gonna be cooled, but they could use it for that in December and January to get away. So, it's high for a little building. But I don't know if anybody else has priced stuff lately. It's crazy what they're charging. Just the slab like scared me to death when I looked at the bid on the slab.
$11 a foot.
Somebody told me, boy across the river, $165 a yard is what they're going to next week up there. I don't know how many yards I pulled for $10 a yard. So things are changing. Y'all have any questions of us? If not, we appreciate y'all's time today. Won't take up any more. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Well, any of y'all have any questions? I think we have come to that time, that part of day one, where it is time to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll entertain that motion at 3:40. Commissioner Snuggs, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. See you back at 9 o'clock.